Well, England have pulled out of the chance to host the World Cup for the first time since 1966. It would have been a joint bid with the UK nations, Scotland, Wales, Republic of Ireland, but it's not going ahead because the English FA and the associations involved believe they have a better chance of winning the race to host the Euros in 2028. Now, obviously, football fans will be delighted to get any major tournament in the UK, but for England particularly, supposedly that the founder nation of football and the biggest league in the world in the Premier League, it's been a long time since football supposedly came home. But I think the reality is, I think people at the FA within the English game have realised that all those things I've mentioned, the founders of football's coming home, that has actually worked against England in the past because people around the world regard that as English arrogance, this kind of sense of entitlement that England invented the game so it should have a World Cup or football's coming home. It doesn't actually work for England overseas. So they found out that chasing the World Cup bid would probably be a losing bid because England particularly, not Scotland, not Wales, not Ireland, England particularly have a negative view of themselves across the world. There's many associations in Europe in particular that just wouldn't vote for the English FA because, the Brexit situation hasn't helped. In Eastern Europe in particular, a lot of the Eastern Europe associations believe that the English FA is hypocritical, criticising the racist incidents in those countries, but not, dealing with those that happen in the UK and England, because that we've seen in the past, in recent months and weeks and seasons, that there have been incidents of racism in the UK and England. So, I think pulling out of this race is the right decision because I don't think England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland would have won the race to host the 2030 World Cup. I think going for the Euros in 2028 is a positive way to come out of the World Cup bid in 2030. I think, they couldn't pull out of the World Cup bid in 2030 and not have something to show for. So I think trying to win the Euros in 2020 is a way to make it look better, but it's also a more feasible option to win. Now, in 2030, I think England realised that Portugal-Spain, the joint bid of Portugal-Spain was the most likely to win the UEFA backing. So UEFA weren't going to back two bids, and Portugal-Spain is most likely to go forward and compete against what is looking like a combined South American bid. It'll be 100 years since the first World Cup in Uruguay in 2030. So there's a lot of kind of emotion pulling towards Uruguay, Argentina, maybe Chile coming together to host it in 2030. So England really didn't have an opportunity to get that, didn't have a chance of leading that bid. 2028, I think they've more chance of winning it. I think they're likely to be up against Italy, who haven't had a major tournament since 1990 in the World Cup. Turkey are quite keen to get it as well. Turkey have missed out on a number of occasions now to host the Euro. So Turkey and Italy were the biggest rivals. But I think the English FA, the Irish and the Scots and the Welsh also have an indication that if they go for 2028, it's more likely to be a successful bid. And it would be a good bid. I think you're looking at, England we know has got great stadiums, but also in Glasgow you've got Ibrox, you've got Celtic Park, you've got Hampden Park. Cardiff has the Principality Stadium, used to be the Millennium Stadium. And in Dublin, they have the Aviva Stadium. So it would be a good spread of games, good spread of stadiums as well. It could definitely host the Euros. But I think that obviously football fans will be disappointed that the World Cup isn't coming to England again. But I think they have to be realistic. I don't think England, as the kind of the biggest part of that bid, was ever going to win the bid. The trouble at the Euro 2020 final, prior to the game and during the game, I don't think that actually helps England front the bid for 2030. Obviously, it was in conjunction with Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, but those scenes were horrendous scenes, and it didn't showcase English football in a good light. It suggested that they can't control a big event, that chaos reigns at times when English football has a big game. And although they've had Champions League finals at Wembley that have been successful, this was the biggest game at Wembley in English football for over 50 years, and it was a shambles because Wembley couldn't do it properly, the police couldn't do it properly. Now, I've been told that wouldn't go against the English FA, that UEFA were, people in UEFA were kind of won over by the way that the English football dealt with the Super League, the possible Super League breakaway, that the government in particular was very quick to stamp on it. But those scenes of the fans rioting and causing disorder on the day of the Euro 2020 final, you don't see those scenes in any other major tournament, in Europe, in the World Cup. So I think it definitely works against the English bid. I don't think it would have gone well because when it comes to the voting, the opponents will say, well, look, the last time England hosted a major tournament, this is what happened. And it will always be there in the background. So that will obviously be an issue for the Euro 2028 bid, but I do think that they've got a more receptive audience, but it will be tough. Italy's a major football nation, it's got a great history, got great stadiums that will be rebuilt, I'd imagine, by 2028. Turkey, big nation with big ambition. So it's not going to be a formality that England, Scotland, Wales and Ireland get this bid, but it's a much easier one to win the World Cup in 2030.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.